What's up, guys? It's the next day after UFC Freedom 250. It still hasn't really sunk in yet that Ilia Topuria, my favorite fighter, the guy I was glazing this entire fight week leading up to these fights, got dominated in every round except for the second by Justin Gaethje. Got mauled and quit on the stool. And don't get me wrong, I get why he quit. It was smart to do so, but still, it hasn't set in. And Alex Pereira, one of my favorite fighters as well, got KO'd by French pillow-fisted, cheating Cyril Gane. It still hasn't set in, but it's okay because I found a way to cope with this. We're going to be reacting to all these fights, breaking all of them down, and we're going to put a little twist on it. After each of these fights, I'm going to rank them from S to D tier on a tier list I have on another screen right now based on which fights were the most entertaining, the best performances, rewatch value, like everything about the fight. We're going to rate them as well after react to them so I can take my mind a little bit off of the results of the main event and co-main event. So first off, starting with Diego Lopez, Steve Garcia. My heart's not even in it right now, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Diego Lopez, Steve Garcia. Now, this card started off amazingly. I'm a big Diego Lopez fan as well. And I was a little worried. That first round, he was getting outstruck by Steve Garcia. On the numbers, no one was really getting hurt. No one was getting rocked. Steve Garcia was just landing the better shots. Diego Lopez, it's like I said in my prediction video, he's not a high volume striker. When he gets in the pocket, he does throw in higher volume, but he's not consistently in the pocket. He tries to, look at that Ortega fight, jabbing at range. When he did throw, he would throw a lot, but he doesn't throw a lot, if that makes sense. I don't know how better to explain that. But that's exactly what happened in this fight. In the first round, not throwing too much, got outstruck by Steve Garcia. Then Diego Lopez realized in that second round, wait a minute, I'm not a technical kickboxer. Let me just hard brawl and win this fight. And that's exactly what he did. He just started brawling with Steve Garcia. And looking at the shape of Diego Lopez's head, I don't know why Steve Garcia thought he could go chrome for chrome, dome for dome with Diego Lopez. They were brawling in the pocket. And Diego Lopez, I think it was a left hook, which is exactly what I predicted. I said Steve Garcia would jump into the pocket with his big looping punches, start brawling, and Lopez would clip him with the left hook, which is exactly what happened. He dropped him to a knee. Steve Garcia was then running backwards, but once you're hurt by Diego Lopez, and if you're not Volkanovski, it's over. Diego Lopez ran forward, throwing hooks. Steve Garcia tried to throw back to get him off of him, got dropped again, ground and pound, TKO'd, put out cold really from that ground and pound from Diego Lopez. Then Diego Lopez jumped on the cage, started aura farming. Cold picture. If he's got to change his profile picture. I'm not sure if it's still the default UFC profile picture that every fighter has as his Instagram profile picture for some reason. But if it is, he's got to change it to that picture of him on the cage with the White House in the background. Cold picture. And in his post-fight speech, he said, I'm pretty sure he was like, what did he say? He's like, yeah, his hotel is real close by. So if need be, something happens in the main event, he's willing to step in. I wish that had happened. I wish Ilia Topuria had fallen down before the main event and broken his big toe. Had to step out. Diego Lopez steps in. Okay. No, we're going to move on. I'm not going to think about the main event before I have to. And now we're going to place this on this tier list that we have here. The Diego Lopez-Steve Garcia fight, it was a pretty decent fight. At first, it wasn't the best, but it picked up in the second round. So I'll probably put it at B tier. The second round was a banger, but the first round was pretty slow. It's not the best in the first round, so we'll put it there. All right. Now we have Bo Nickel, Kyle Daukaus. This fight, I did pick Kyle Daukaus, I'll be honest. However, I don't think it was that bad of a pick. I really don't think it was. Now, clearly it was, but beforehand. Anyway, Bo Nickel, yeah, he beat Kyle Daukaus. He took him down, ground and pounded him. That was my shoe, if you guys heard that, by the way. That was my shoe squeaking. Bo Nickel took him down, was landing some pretty decent ground and pound shots. And then there was a really weird stand-up after, because Bo Nickel was being active on the ground. Yeah, he was kind of smudging him, but not to the point where there should be a stand up. And that kind of set the tone, I feel like, for the rest of the card. We should have known that the ref wouldn't let the doctor stop the main event, that Ilya fight. Don't want to keep talking about that fight, but we should have known that was going to happen. Because this card, they clearly were setting this up for all finishes. They wanted all knockouts, all dominant, entertaining fights. So they stood up Bo Nickel, and you would think that was better for Kyle Dawkins, guy who on paper is a better striker than Bo Nickel. But Bo Nickel landed a front kick. It kind of grazed Kyle Dawkins, but I think it kind of rocked him a little bit. Then Bo Nickel landed an overhand right, it was like a big loop in overhand right, a very wrestler-esque hook that landed on Kyle Dawkins, then a left hook after and knocked him down. Ground and pound follow up, not really needed, but it happened. Bo Nickel, congratulations to Bo Nickel. Doing that to Kyle Dawkins is actually pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. I'll give him that. But I don't know. Bo Nickel being Bo Nickel just doesn't get me that excited about his next fight. He's still berries and peaches and cream and whatever. Bo Nickel, not that entertaining of a personality. I know his fights. He's not really going to get a step up. And if he does, I don't rate him highly enough to be confident in. You know what? Maybe if they give him a ranked opponent, I'll have a little bit of hype. But I don't know. I'm not that excited for his next fight. So now we're going to rank his fight, the Bo Nickel, Kyle Dawkins fight. A first round finish. We're looking at it in terms of this whole card, though. There were finishes throughout this entire card. I think it was a smudge fest at first. I'll put it in the C tier. Also because the stakes weren't that high. It was a Bo Nickel, Kyle Dawkins fight. No matter what happened, it doesn't really affect the UFC and ranking anything that much. So I'll put it C tier. Now, let's get to the next fight. We have Rufi versus Michael Chandler. Now, this one really was just a lamb led to the slaughter. 3 shots. Michael Chandler's entire career, by the way, has led up to him fighting on this White House card. You know, he's the American guy, you know, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, all that. His entire career has led to him landing 3 shots and getting TKO'd in the first round on the White House card. Congratulations, Michael Chandler. You did what you always wanted to do. Congratulations. But really, I think this did have a little bit to do with Michael Chandler being washed. Don't get me wrong. But the way he was dominated, I do feel like Rufi was just levels better than him. It's not just Michael Chandler, you know, bad cardio, you know, being a little older. Rufi just showed better fight IQ, everything overall. At first, Rufi wasn't landing the good shots on Chandler. He was overcommitting a little bit. But the moment he got his range and his timing, it was all over for Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler at one point landed a good Superman punch off the cage. I don't know if it fully landed, but it at least grazed Rufi. Yeah, but that's really all he did. That was his best shot of the fight. I think he landed 2 low kicks. I think those are his other 2 strikes. And otherwise, I'm pretty sure, wheel kicked twice. The first one dropped him. Second one led to the TKO finish. Yeah, it was just domination from Rufi. Every shot he landed on Chandler had an impact on him. And then the wheel kicks. Once he was pulling out the wheel kicks, you kind of knew it was over. Yeah, I wasn't that. A lot of these fights were, how do I explain this? If you get if you get chocolate ice cream, right, you're going to be excited. If you get chocolate ice cream for 6, 7 meals in a row, it's a little less exciting. That's kind of what this is like. We'd already had 3 finishes in a row now with this fight. This one, Rufi, who was expected to TKO Michael Chandler, it was like a good performance, but it wasn't that exciting because of that. It was still hype. I got super hyped from it, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It wasn't the most exciting outcome. I would have preferred a war, but Rufi is really good, and this kind of proved it. If you're not good, you're not doing that to Michael Chandler. I know people are, you know, Patty Pimblett lost the first round to Michael Chandler and then won by TKO in the third. Rufi just mauled him in 1 round. So Rufi is pretty good. Shout out to Rufi. And he stuffed all the takedowns. That was nice to see. I thought Michael Chandler might give him some problems with the takedowns. He didn't really commit to any takedowns, but he did shoot them. Rufi stuffed them pretty easily. So congratulations to Mauricio Rufi. Now, we're going to rank his fight. This one was actually pretty entertaining. I know I was saying, it was expected and everything, but it was pretty entertaining. I'll put that at A tier. I'll put that at A tier. I was pretty entertained from this fight. Yeah, I feel like that's a fair place to put it. All right, now you have Josh Hokett, Derek Lewis. This one was a little bit like 105 strikes to 8 strikes. I expected Josh Hokett to win. By the way, for the Chandler and Derek Lewis fights, I think they should have just played a retirement montage on the screen, like not even like addressing, if they wanted to retire, just play it on the screen in front of them to influence them to retire. Because I promise you, I don't want to see Derek Lewis or Michael Chandler fight again. Derek Lewis, I know he's always been a fat guy his entire career, but now he's an old fat guy with no heart. That Volkov fight, yeah, he got dominated that whole fight, but he was still throwing. He was still able to land that shot. Derek Lewis just doesn't even have that fluke ability anymore. He just gives up too easy. He used to not give up as easily. Like he went to war with Tai Tuivasa before he gave up. This Josh Hokett fight, he just refused to throw back, let himself get dominated. When he was on the ground, he doesn't have his just get up ability again. Josh Hokett landing good ground and pound shots. Then he had an armbar at the end of the at the end of the first round. And yeah, I can't remember what. Yeah, he wasn't able to get the armbar because he was holding it over his chest. He wasn't tucking it underneath his armpit like Charles Oliveira did with Tony Ferguson. He wasn't turning his thumb up. It looked like he was just. I know Josh Hokett knows how to finish an armbar. He trains MMA, jiu-jitsu at a good gym. I forget his gym, but it's a good gym. He knows how to finish an armbar. That's a day one thing. I think he just wanted to TKO Derek Lewis. I guess he figured it'd be kind of anticlimactic to get an armbar on Derek Lewis compared to a submission, a knockout, when this entire card has had knockouts too. Even though I will say the submission would have been a nice little change. But in the second round, Derek Lewis is already gassed. But he stuffs a takedown from Josh Hokett, lands a couple good shots on Josh Hokett to make him not want to pursue that takedown anymore. And at first I'm like, wait, this might get interesting. Who knows? But then I remember Derek Lewis is fat, out of shape, no cardio. He gassed out. He let himself get TKO'd. It kind of reminded me of the Tai Tuivasa fight where he did get KO, but it was also him kind of just being ready to be out of that fight. Josh Hokett just dominated him, outskilled him, out-cardioed him. Really did everything better than Derek Lewis, and that's what I expected to happen. So congratulations, Josh Hokett, and was able to, give a little speech on the White House lawn. So congratulations to him. Oh, and let's put this on the tier list. Josh Hokett. I'll put this fight a B tier too, because again, it was Derek Lewis who threw 8 punches. It's not as good as the roofie one. I know that was Michael Chandler, but there were wheel kicks and stuff landed in that fight. This one, it was okay. It was okay. Again, this is like I'm saying, there was a lot of finishes, yeah, but there weren't really wars. They were one-sided beatdowns for the most. I think, let's see, one-sided beatdown, except the first round, but yeah, decent fight. One-sided beatdown, one-sided beatdown, one-sided beatdown. We'll get to these two one-sided beatdowns. And then this one, the one I expected to be a one-sided beatdown, was a war. Anyway, I don't want to talk about the main event yet. I'm still recovering. Sean O'Malley, Amian Zahabi. Amian Zahabi, count your fucking days. I hate you, Amian Zahabi. Do you know how annoying that fight was to watch? Amian Zahabi didn't commit with any punches until that second round. He was running in with his stupid little leg kicks. And Joe Rogan, just coming on commentary. Oh, he's in southpaw. Sean O'Malley always switches stances. When he did switch stances, it wasn't because his leg was hurt. He stayed in southpaw because he figured out he was having more success with the hands in southpaw. It was harder for Zahabi to land those kicks, he was able to check them better when he was in southpaw, not because it was just hurting or anything. Yeah, I'm sure it hurt to some extent. It wasn't compromising his movement. I hate you, Joe Rogan, and I hate you, Amian Zahabi. But Sean O'Malley was he was outstriking Amian Zahabi this entire fight. I don't care about the leg kicks Zahabi was landing. They didn't do anything. They're running in leg kicks. No bruising, no marks on Sean O'Malley's legs, no limping, no nothing, no proof that they were doing anything. Sean O'Malley was landing good shots with the hands. Round one with the striking. Round two, he wasn't throwing as much, but I think he was trying to find his range for that KO shot. He eventually found his range. was able to get out the way of those leg kicks, tagging up Zahabi. Zahabi realized, oh, I got to throw some punches or I'm going to lose a decision. The moment Zahabi throws some punches, the moment he throws punches and just stops throwing those gay little leg kicks, he gets flipped with the shot from O'Malley, dropped, gets back up, boom, boom, two-piece from O'Malley. Crazy accuracy, too. Zahabi's getting back up, and O'Malley lands perfectly and spins his chin with two shots, drops him, then walks away and salutes. And I think that actually helped the ref stop it sooner because of those salutes. But it was a good stoppage anyway. Anyone saying it was late or early has to go back and rewatch that, because afterwards, on the other angle that showed Zahabi after the stoppage, he couldn't get back up. He tried to get back up and fell down again. He was out. It was over. It wasn't like the Jose Aldo one where he got kicked but stood right back up. He was out. So a good win from O'Malley. I'm sorry, guys. I know I seem low energy right now, but I'm just bummed out from the Alex Pereira and Ilia Topuria fights. I don't even want to. We're going to get to those. Yeah, this was, again, a pretty boring fight as well. A domination, one-sided. Yeah, O'Malley got the finish. The finishes were good, but I'm not going to rewatch this fight. I think of all these fights, I'm not going to rewatch the Lopez one. The first round, maybe I'd rewatch the second round, but again, not really. It wasn't banger in the second round either. It was just decent, good finish. I'm not rewatching this. I might rewatch this. I'm not rewatching this. I'm not rewatching this. Like, they were finishes, but they weren't good fights, if that makes sense. All right, let's put this on a tier list. We're going to put the O'Malley fight. Yeah, I think we got to put it C tier. Similar to the Bo Nickel one. He finished Amian Zahabi. That was good. And that's about all that was good with that fight. Yeah, I don't know. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm getting more bummed out the closer we get to these fights. All right. Alex Pereira, Cyril Gane. I already covered this fight in my video yesterday. I'll cover it real quick right now. Alex Pereira, he was landing some good leg kicks. I felt like Joe Rogan during this fight. Those leg kicks are tearing up Cyril Gane. They actually look like they were having an impact too. Gane was landing some good leg kicks of his own though. Doing better with the hands. Pereira had a little bit of that Zahabi syndrome. Wasn't letting go with his hands. At the end of the first round, he landed a good right, straight right down the pipe that rocked Cyril Gane. And that's about all he did with his hands. And didn't really rock him, just like stumbled him a little bit. And that's all Pereira did with his hands. Second round comes, gets dropped by a jab while rushing in. Cyril Gane. It kind of reminded me of the DDP Whitaker finish where Whitaker blitzed in and DDP threw a jab at the same time and got dropped. That's what happened here. Alex Pereira then gets hit with, I count about 12 back of the head elbows and punches from Cyril Gane while he's on the ground. I think he would have gotten finished anyway. That's not what I'm saying. Just Cyril Gane is a French cheating. I hate him. And gets back up, lands a couple counters when Cyril Gane's teeing off, but nothing with any sting on him. Alex Pereira then just gets TKO to get up against the fence because he's already rocked. He's already out. They could have stopped it earlier, but I'm glad they didn't stop it early. Even if it would have been a good stoppage, because this is like legacy defining stuff. I'm pretty sure Alex Pereira is happy they didn't stop it early too, because that would have kind of sucked for him. Yeah, and that's really what happened. There's not too much to cover in this fight. Alex Pereira did look a little slow, but what do you expect? He put on all that weight. That's not an excuse for Pereira either. He just did look slow, but he chose to put on that weight. He thought putting on that weight would help him, and apparently it didn't. So congratulations to Cyril Gane. Yeah. All right, Anna, we got to do a little tier list. Yay. All right, Alex Pereira. This fight was pretty good. I'll put it in the A tier. That was actually a pretty decent fight. I liked that fight as long as it lasted. It was entertaining. High stakes. I was nervous this entire fight. There were actual high stakes for this fight, and I knew a single shot from either of these guys could change anything, and it did. So I'll put that in the A tier. All right, now Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje. I want to say something. Call me a coper all you want. Call me a fan all you want. Ilia Topuria, I'm not going to say he didn't look like himself because he chose to fight the way he did. But I think Ilya Topuria was so intent on getting a first round finish that he fought dumbly. He fought pretty stupid and fumbled that fight for himself. When's the last time we've seen Ilya in that first round walk forward with a high guard and no head movement and just try to trade punches? The Volk fight, Volk, who doesn't hit as hard as Gaethje, Ilya didn't try to trade punches with him. He was trying to technically out jab him, counter him, leg kicks. Ilya barely threw leg kicks in this fight in that first round. He threw them. When he threw them, they landed good, but he barely threw them. I didn't see Ilya Topuria throw his jab at all unless it was a big clobber in 1-2 trying to knock out Gaethje. He didn't try to find his range with the jab at all. He just went right in there with big hooks trying to trade with Gaethje, trying to knock out Justin Gaethje. And it didn't work because Gaethje actually has a crazy chin and crazy recovery. Ilya was rocking him, but when he was rocking him, I actually got nervous when Ilya rocked Gaethje in that first round because I was like, wait, I forgot about the Rufus chin. He gets rocked, but it doesn't really matter because you're not putting him out when you rock him. I know Max Holloway did, but that was different. He was blind from 2 eye pokes, nose broken from a spinning back kick. Last 10 seconds just trading in the pocket, not caring about defense. Yeah, that was a different scenario, different story. Then in that second round, Ilya Topuria. By the way, I also think he was kind of blind in that first round from not using his head movement because he was getting jabbed up by Gaethje, not moving his head at all, getting jabbed up, took away his vision, I think. And couldn't see that good with the cuts, the bruising and stuff. And Ilya Topuria is a very visual fighter. He sees shots coming. He slips, he dips, he rips. That's hard to do when your eyes are swollen. I think that messed him up as well. So good first round from Gaethje. Gaethje knew he had to put damage on Ilya, especially with that clinch. Ilya Topuria not throwing his jab at all in this fight. And if you're not going to throw your jab as a shorter guy, you got to get in close and throw hooks. Every time he tried to get in close, Gaethje would clinch up, throw that uppercut. And I think that's what initially hurt Ilya's eye as well, because he was kind of holding his hand like this after an uppercut, and the jabs were just busting it up even worse. Man. And the second round came along, and Ilya Topuria TKO'd Justin Gaethje. Ilya Topuria TKO'd Justin Gaethje in the second round. But Justin Gaethje, while he was falling to the ground, used some sort of dark voodoo magic on Ilya Topuria, apparently, to make Ilya Topuria decide not to TKO him. Ilya Topuria, if he had walked away after that liver shot, he was ripping shots to the body, landed a nice liver shot. Justin Gaethje dropped to the ground. Did they count that as a knockdown? Let's see. I'm not sure. Is that a knockdown for Ilya or against Ilya? Because I'm not sure if they counted the big shot from Justin Gaethje. Anyway, Ilya Topuria, Justin Gaethje was heading to the ground from that body shot. Ilya Topuria could have walked away and they would have stopped the fight. Like Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley saluted after that dropping Amian Zahabi. They stopped the fight. Ilya Topuria instead decides to jump on Justin Gaethje, try to go for an armbar, a bunch of submissions, a bunch of wrestling, gassed himself out. Maybe the outdoor heat had something to do with it. A lot of the fighters look slower tonight, I will say. Gassed himself out trying to wrestle. And the rest was history. I'm not even going to talk about the doctor thing. I talked about that in my video last night, right after the fight. Doctors came in. They should have stopped that fight in the third round, I do think. Again, I think the UFC had something to do with it, telling the refs, because I don't think this was sanctioned officially. I think there's a way for these to count as pro fights, but they're not officially sanctioned for some sort of reason. I do think that gave the UFC more liberty to tell the refs to keep these fights going no matter what, make these interesting, yada, yada, yada. I think they should have stopped that fight in the third round. Like the doctor said, Ilya Topuria could not see good out of either of his eyes. They should have stopped it. He just took unnecessary damage in that fourth round, then quit on the stool. Not because like he's some quitter or anything, but he was blind in both eyes, probably a broken rib, broken orbitals. I'm pretty sure he was confirmed to have broken orbitals, broken rib as well. Very concussed. Not going to win that fight. Yeah, they should have just stopped the fight. And congratulations to Justin Gaethje. Ilya Topuria in the top 5 of a lot of people's GOAT list. They're saying he beats Justin Gaethje. People are planning out his GOAT run. Like he beats Gaethje. That's the easy one. Of course he's going to beat Gaethje. The hard fights are up ahead. Looks like Justin Gaethje was the hard fight. All right, let's put this fight on the tier list. Ilia Topuria, Justin Gaethje, S tier. Fight of the night. It was a great fight. I just can't bring myself to watch it back. And that's the whole card. That was the whole card. I just can't bring myself to liking any fighters anymore. I like Alex Pereira. He's finished. I like Volkanovski. He gets KO'd twice in a row. I like Charles Oliveira. You know what? The comebacks, the losses from those guys made the comebacks feel even better. So the Ilia Topuria comeback is going to feel great. After he colds Arman, colds Paddy Pimblett, colds Roofy, colds Justin Gaethje in that rematch, colds Islam. Yep. He's going to do all that. I still believe that's still my boy, and I still believe in him, and he's going to be back better than ever. He learned his lesson. Fight like Ilia Topuria. Don't try to brawl and get that first-round KO because he's not a first-round KO guy. He works his way into fights. Fight like yourself, Ilia. Yeah, and that's all I have to say for today. This was a pretty decent card, but again, the fights weren't that entertaining. They were all kind of one-sided beatdowns, except the main event, which you could say was a little bit of a one-sided beatdown, but it was a war at the same time. Yeah. So that's about it for today. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll be back with another video tomorrow. All right, guys. Peace out.